is God's gift, not the most beautiful plant you've ever seen. I feel like I need to, maybe so you can see it better. I feel like everyone wishes they could grow a plant this beautiful. Alright, so I am here to talk to you about whether or not the United States government is the most evil government in the world. So, a year and 9 months ago, a guy threatened me with a gun right next to Lockheed Martin, which is the lab. Everyone knows it's the lab. The police know it's the lab. And they decided to side with that guy because a lot of people have been threatening me with guns, and now everyone needs to know. Now they need to put me in a mental hospital because they can't put me in jail because they decided I couldn't have a trial. I'm doing a really bad job talking this morning, so I've repeated this too many times, but they didn't want me to have a trial a year and 9 months ago. A year and 9 months later, I'm mentally disabled and I'm done going to my competency meetings, which means I'm under arrest. What happens when you go to a competency meeting? You talk to a person and they ask you the same questions over and over again. What is a judge? What's a jury? What does your lawyer do? Stuff like that. It's very basic things. They give you terrible advice on the law. All right, so I'm alleging the United States government's the most evil country in the world, the most evil government in the world. So they covered up for they did COVID-19. They framed me for it, and I'm a nice guy. They didn't do a good enough job of keeping me out of custody because now I've snitched on them doing COVID-19. They now are sitting around talking about Russia using chemical weapons in Ukraine, which I don't know why anyone thinks that Russia would use chemical weapons in Ukraine. I think Ukraine might use chemical weapons. But, I mean, that's kind of how war works. So, the United States military, are they behind COVID-19? In my opinion, no. Are people from the United States military behind COVID-19? Yes. Is that why I'm mentally disabled? Yes. Did the United States government purposely spread COVID-19 because they're behind COVID-19 and they're trying to kill everyone? Yes. So, when we talk about a country that frames people and tries to make them look crazy and covers up for everything and reaches a point where like everyone that's in charge is part of this Jewish group, and for some reason I haven't gotten arrested but that's because I'm mentally ill. And all I'm saying is like when you're from a country where like everyone on the media, they're the ones that killed you. Not everyone, but the people behind the media, the United States media, they're the ones that did COVID-19. They're the ones trying to kill you. And they're the ones that are controlling what information you see. And all I'm saying is that like I think that like I'm so crazy sounding, like he's blaming the people that the Holocaust happened to. He's anti-Semitic. He's trying to cause the Holocaust. He's evil. I was involved with COVID-19. I was involved with the people behind it. I am Jewish. I'm just saying like the government's behind COVID-19. And then the government's framing me. And my understanding is that someone from the lab, this police officer from the labs who wants to arrest me for my marijuana, no one's above the law that says that he's not allowed to grow marijuana for himself at all. He's never gonna have enough weed for himself. No one's above that law. He needs to drive drugs for the lab. And my understanding is the lab really is not okay with that police officer's behavior because the police officer has caused that many problems. And like sometimes you think you work for the lab so you're hot shit, and the reality is you're a dirty cop, and you never ever process the fact that you're a dirty cop. Like I think that like when people work for the government and they're dirty cops, they're like, well, I work for the government, I have to be a dirty cop. And it's like, no, you're a dirty cop. And all I'm saying is that this city is full of dirty cops and then undercover cops that are investigating the dirty cops who are dirty. Because they won't tell the American people about the brain hacking. They don't want anyone to know that their thoughts are being controlled. They don't want anyone to know that people can like do broadcasts. My understanding is it's like not that easy to do broadcasts on everyone's brains, but they can. They can give everyone the same thought at the same time. And so all I'm saying is that like when the dirty cops don't want you to know because they're part of the lab, and when the less dirty cops, the ones that are investigating the dirty cops, but they don't investigate the dirty cops because they know the cops are good guys. My understanding is that if you look at the amount of investigations that have been done into the Colorado Springs Police Department, which is like who literally touches the drugs, who moves the drugs by hand. It's like none. They do not even look into cops because they know the cops are the good guys. It's like everyone in charge of the feds, they're a bunch of Jews. So they have this internal dialogue that they always say to themselves, and they don't even know it's in there. Jewish people don't sell drugs. Jewish people don't sell drugs. Jewish people don't sell drugs. We can't bust black people. We can't bust black people. We need to leave the black people alone. Jewish people don't sell drugs. So there are two groups of people that are the entire drug trafficking business. The Jewish people and the black people. Jewish people don't sell drugs. But they don't understand that the only reason the Christians are selling drugs on such a high level is because of me, because the Christians are my friend, because I was a Jewish person put in the Christian community in order to recruit Christians to sell drugs, to keep the heat off the Jews. And like, I think that no one's got that. I don't know, my understanding is the Jewish guy from the DEA, he's the one that, he agrees with me, it's a Jewish conspiracy now. Like now, like he went, yes, I agree. Like, because he realized it, like, he's not in on it, and he's done a really bad job because he's Jewish. Because he always thinks that Jewish people are innocent. And like, he doesn't know why he always thinks that Jewish people are innocent. But there are people that are in the DEA and the FBI, my understanding, that have always known as Jewish people. Because Elizabeth Ritchie. Because like, if you listen to Sarah Ritchie, she'll tell you, the cops are in on it. Cops are dirty. And I think that what happens is when a police officer has listened to a person tell someone the police are in on it, they work for the lab. The police know the person who warns someone that police are in on it. They're the ones that's in on it. But I feel like I'm the type of person that would say something like that, and then everyone would know that I'm with the lab. Which am I? I've been with the lab enough. Like, I quit the lab a long time ago, and like, I feel like Lockheed Martin is a group of people that's so untouchable. No one will ever go after them, and that's the real situation. There is like, I'm dead. Every time I turn on the news and they're like, "Hey, we're talking about Ukraine. Oh, let's talk about black people. Someone did something racist. Oh, let's talk about Ukraine. Let's talk about gun control." Like, every time I turn it on, I'm like, all right. I wonder if they think that COVID-19 is going to kill people sooner. My understanding is that COVID-19 is going to really get bad in like 5 years. And so, like, I think the media is just kind of like waiting for everyone to die, and they didn't do a very good job of waiting for everyone to die because they didn't make their media very interesting. All right, I'm out of here. I got to go work on the farm.